What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. Today I'm talking about DuoLingo. You may be asking yourself, Spencer, why would you review DuoLingo? And the answer to that question is that I wanted to. I don't think I've ever mentioned this before, but I got a minor in Chinese in college and even studied it for 2 years in high school. I met one of my closest friends at the beginning of college in my introductory Chinese class. I only needed 2 semesters of a language class for my degree, but he convinced me to see it through to the end. Well, since then, I've been really bad at picking up the momentum of learning Chinese, and much of my vocabulary has dissipated. Recently, I've had a deep desire to jump back in and become semi-fluent in the language. So in 2024, options are way different than they were when I was a kid. Growing up, there was kind of only Rosetta Stone. They had all the TV ads. I distinctly remember one with Michael Phelps for some reason.
They say it's the fastest way to learn a language, guaranteed. Fast. I like that.
When I started this journey, I thought to go there first. Besides, I had used the program before, so there was a level of familiarity with it. I'll just start by saying I think Rosetta Stone is overpriced. $110 for a year doesn't sound bad, but who wants to be committed to something for over a year? Or even just $50 for a few months, which is actually just a bad price. But when I recommitted to learning Chinese, I went for the 3-month plan. The program's not terrible, but it feels really stiff. I had a lot of technical issues like navigating the menus, and the worst issues with voice commands. I think the idea of it is great, especially in Chinese where pronunciation is everything. I couldn't get it to work with headphones, and I could never figure out how soft or loud I should have been speaking. Over time, I used the app less and less until I was back to square one. Naturally, I thought of the next major company that I knew about, DuoLingo. They have a really good marketing department. I know it best from those memes that were trending for a while about the app's mascot being threatening and ominous. I'm not sure if this was just something that popped up on social media and the DuoLingo team ran with it, or the DuoLingo marketing people started this trend on their own, but either way, it was very effective. And honestly, it was probably just a mixture of both. Today, they seem to just do run-of-the-mill type of marketing, replying to random tweets about them, selling merch, tying their mascot into random popular things, and stuff of that nature. So, how is the app? Considering it's free, it's actually quite incredible. Although, honestly, it's kind of hard to tell at the same time what level of privileges I'm getting because as of the time I am recording this, I'm on a 2-week free trial of the premium. The app is also somewhat convoluted. There's a roadmap, but you will constantly be taken to these side modes that just sort of pop up. So honestly, I have no idea if I'm getting these because I'm on a premium account. My impression is that the only massive perk I'm getting is the ability to use the app as long as I want. I believe there's a heart type of system where you reach an artificial wall because you use too many credits that are allotted to free accounts for the day. Like Mafia Wars back on Facebook, you have to wait a certain amount of time for a cooldown. But obviously, if you pay, then you just get to keep going. I am constantly getting XP and other random stuff, but luckily it doesn't seem to really affect anything at all, I think. But let's talk about the core functionality of the app, learning a language. To oversimplify my opinion before I get in depth about the program, I will say that it's good. The layout is pleasing to look at, goals feel tangible, and it feels like you are on a journey. Sections are super well labeled, so you know the topic you're learning about. You can even skip ahead if you want to learn about a certain subject. Comparing it to Rosetta Stone is actually kind of insane. It is the most bare-bone, boring aesthetic possible. The lessons are just plain flashcard-looking things. Their roadmap is just a progress bar, and it kind of sucks because in the beginning, it doesn't feel like you're making significant progress. In DuoLingo lessons, you get animated characters with constantly changing voices, which it reminds you how complex learning a language is. It's so much more than just learning words. You need to hear the same words pronounced by so many different kinds of people and of different sexes. The character animations are surprisingly smooth. My only issue is that the characters don't do what the sentence is. You'll talk about singing and the character will drink tea when you get the question right. Not really a big issue, but it is worth mentioning. It is definitely better compared to Rosetta Stone, where most of the material centers around JPEGs and flashcards. So let's now shift our focus to the true meat and potatoes of this subject. How good is DuoLingo at actually teaching me the language of Chinese? From the perspective that it's mostly free, I would say it does an amazing job. The focus on DuoLingo seems to be vocabulary and sentence structure, 2 very obviously important things for learning a language. Do I think it will make you a fluent speaker? I haven't been using DuoLingo for 2 years or anything, but I would say probably not. I think you would excel at understanding a lot of words within a sentence, being able to skim articles, and communicating on online chat forums. but actually speaking with another fluent person would be very difficult. You are barely thrown into the deep end in the learning process. With Rosetta Stone, there are sections where you need to translate a sentence from English to Chinese, and it will open the mic to you immediately. The screen is blank, you just need to say it as if it's natural to you. You just don't get that kind of depth in this app, which I think is one of the weakest parts about the experience. There is a voice practice section, but it's not good in my opinion. I think it just listens to if sound is being made because I felt like it would accept anything I was saying. Sometimes I would be in the middle of saying the sentence and it would say I got the whole thing correct. This is very unfortunate because enunciation is everything in Mandarin. The dictation of your voice can drastically change what you are saying. With DuoLingo, I feel confident that after a year, I would be apt at understanding Chinese versus being able to speak it with a native speaker and have confidence that they would be able to understand anything I was saying. I got major social anxiety when I tried to speak Chinese in the past. Besides being afraid of not understanding what the other person was saying, I was more scared of replying and making myself sound stupid. You can't learn how to sound authentic to the language using DuoLingo is the main point of what I'm saying here. To give Rosetta Stone credit, their voice sections are very in-depth. It will listen to the pitch of your voice and grade you harshly. I could never get it to work with my AirPods or iPad though, so that was annoying. The only other gripe I have with DuoLingo is how much of a helping hand it gives you. When you need to take a sentence that was spoken in Chinese and make the sentence using Chinese characters, the voice will tell you what word you are clicking on.
我的儿子喜欢旅行。旅行，旅行。
It's instant gratification, but it feels a little too easy this way. It would be way more difficult to arrange a sentence if I was just placing the Chinese words in the box with no sound. I would have to get way more confident in recognizing the Chinese words if the voice didn't play every time I clicked on it. I'm 90% sure that you cannot turn this setting off. One thing I was very happy to see was the ability to turn off pinging. If you're super brand new to Chinese, and I'm talking like the first couple of weeks, then yeah, pinging is good to use in the beginning. The most value it has is giving you the ability to type on an iPhone keyboard. If you wanted to text a friend in Chinese, go in an online chat forum, then yeah, pinyin is important. Pinyin also helps you understand the proper pronunciation of words with various symbols. But the biggest issue is that it's a cheat code. In reality, it's just the English phonetic spelling of Chinese words. So when you hear a sentence, you can just look at the English words and you'll legitimately just be skipping over what the Chinese characters look like. Feels like I got off topic there somehow, but thumbs up to DuoLingo for having a customizable feature, but I do wish there were a little more. There's one other big language learning app I haven't talked about called Babbel. That is because they do not offer Chinese, so that's quite unfortunate. But what I've heard in their advertising, which you should take for a grain of salt, of course, is that it's very personable, almost like quasi-tutoring. But again, I have no idea because they don't have the language I am trying to learn. So would I recommend DuoLingo if you're looking to get invested in learning another language? Because let's be honest, no one wants to try out multiple language apps for an hour or so and then pick one. It would get really boring really quickly. Because any language learning software is going to start with greetings and I statements. When you pick a language app, that is the one you want to sink your time into. With that in mind, I think I would recommend DuoLingo. You may be able to get a more in-depth understanding of the language you want to learn with Rosetta Stone, but there's also a practical side to all of this. You want an app that'll keep you engaged so you'll stick with it. What value is Rosetta Stone when you might drop it after 3 weeks of trying because you get bored? With DuoLingo, the app is more fun to use, the roadmap is way better, and the overall aesthetic is appealing. I see myself being really dedicated to at least 15 minutes a day. My hope is that in 3 years, I would be confident enough to travel to somewhere like Taiwan, check into my hotel, order food, ask for directions, and buy something from a store. I can see myself achieving these specific goals by using DuoLingo. What do you guys think? Is there an amazing language app I'm missing out on? What experience have you had with language learning apps? Let me know in the comments section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.